is, like I said, I don't think the fan base for Major League Baseball is very pro anything Black Lives Matter. So for MLB to come out and just make this very simple gesture to shut down Karen's husband, I am all here for it. But Karen's husband and Major League Baseball fans, they're getting my Walter Hayton Award.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all give the Walter Hayton Award winners the biggest hater that you can find.
Oh, man. Hate.
And speaking of Major League Baseball, which I don't think all their fans are racist. I think there's a group of them just like every other entity of sports. Group. But Major League Baseball has been looking to tackle social justice issues. Now, recently, the Los Angeles Dodgers, including A.J. Pollock, including Clayton Kershaw, Jock Peterson, Justin Turner, and a plethora of other players, put a video together to say, listen, people deserve to be heard. People need to be heard. We've ignored a group of people for way too long. It's time out for that. Even Clayton Kershaw came out and said, look, Black lives do matter. If you've been familiar with Clayton Kershaw and all his work him and his lovely wife, Ellen, have done, not just here in the States, but over in the continent of Africa, helping people building, areas for clean water to come through. They've done a lot of great work with Kershaw's Challenge, something that I've been a part of to cover for a couple of years. And they really do solid work. And I applaud Clayton Kershaw for coming out and saying that definitively. The video is about 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you get a chance to check it out, make sure you do. The Dodgers are also coming up with T-shirts that saying to end this together, and they're actually giving portions, a large amount to the Dodgers Foundation and other groups that support ending systemic racism and things like that. So props out to the Los Angeles Dodgers. But the main thing is Mookie Betts brought out a great point a couple of weeks ago, which I wrote on nightfallmedia.com when it said, look, man, what are we going to do to end this gap? There's a huge gap out there. I don't think Major League Baseball has done all they could have done to try to end, blend the gap in or tighten up the gap. So to me, I think Major League Baseball has a ways to go. I applaud them for what they said to that individual on social media about, listen, they have a right to peaceful protest, but at the same time, in Major League Baseball has also dropped the ball because there's less than 7% Black American baseball players in Major League Baseball today. Mookie Betts happens to be one of them. Right. Adam Jones. There is, a plethora of other players in Major League Baseball. A small amount of Black American baseball players in Major League Baseball, and there are a plethora of other people from other countries, and even here. So when I look at that, I'm saying, okay, I understand with the RBI program, which you're bridging the gap with getting more young people, Black and brown communities involved in baseball at a younger age. But understand this too. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you weren't doing this. You were getting people from the Black and brown communities from the United States, LA, Chicago, Atlanta, New York, wherever they may be, to bring in. That's why we had the Deion Sanders, we had Darryl Strawberry, we had Eric Davis, we had Ken Griffey Jr., we had all of these guys, Bo Jacksons, and so many before the Eddie Murrays and so many others. We've had all those players, but then you dropped the ball because you thought you looked in your wallet and said it would be cheaper to go raid Central and South America for players that you can buy on the cheap instead of investing money here. And then you started losing your fan base because you're not going to find the Barry Bonds of the world. You're not going to find, other players like that you can sit up there and say the Aaron, you're not going to always find the Aaron Judges of the world or people like that. So, or the Derek Jeters. So you got to sit up there and invest not just with your mouth, but invest with your wallet. You got to bridge the gap, not just talking about, hey, Black lives matter and Black people are important. We know that. We get that. But what are you going to do to bridge the gap amongst the fan base? Because there ain't a lot of Black folks going to baseball games. I covered baseball for a very long time. I see Black people there, don't get me wrong, but it's not what it used to be when I was a kid, when my uncles took me to baseball games where you saw a whole row of Black folks, you saw Latino people, you saw white people, you saw a diverse crowd in a lot of areas in baseball. You don't see that anymore because we don't see enough people that look like us on the diamond.
I am not a huge baseball fan. Honestly, no, because the Black players that I do see, when you see them after a game, most of them don't even speak English. So there is that disconnect there. You know what I mean? And it would be so dope to just see, because when I think of Black communities too, I don't hear about a lot of kids. When I work with kids, I don't hear them saying, first of all, I want Black kids and brown kids to dream bigger anyway, because I do hear a lot like, what do you want to be when I grow up? Oh, I want to be a rapper. I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a football player. I would love for you guys to start dreaming bigger. But I would also like to hear baseball thrown in there, golf thrown in there, tennis thrown in there.
I mean, there's a lot of Black people. I used to play hockey. I was one of the few, because my mom put me into school at one point in time that exposed me to that type of lifestyle. And that's another thing. If you're not exposed to something at a young age because of proximity, you're not going to even know about it.
Right.
Baseball is very expensive. So unless you have somebody sponsoring you, like one of these traveling teams or things like that, because you're that good, and only maybe 1 out of 20 may get on that traveling team that's sponsored by one of these shoe companies or whatever, because they have to get outside of the proximity.